This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's keep it going here. Let's talk about how business is. The biggest shows were December 8th in Pittsburgh. There's 5,300 fans there paying 75 grand. The next day they're in Chicago, only 3,200 paying, but it's 80 grand. And Meltzer would say, while the numbers aren't impressive on the surface, considering how loaded the shows were, when you factor in how horrible the weather was supposed to be in both cities, it's really not that bad. The other shows on the 5th in Ontario were 2,200 fans paying 38 grand Canadian, which is about the price of a Happy Meal here in America. And then on December 6th in Niagara Falls, it was 3,000 fans paying 45,000. But in Clarion, PA on the 7th, there's only 1,500 fans there. Pretty measly gate, just 20 grand. All of these shows had Undertaker and Bret Hart on top, with the Undertaker getting cheered very heavily in all cities. They did change the finish up, doing lots of double count outs, some of them that went as long as 27 minutes. I guess it's worth noting, even in this era, you guys have the reputation for having the better main events when compared to WCW. Will that be fair to say?
Hold on. God damn it.
And we're back talking 1995 WWF, which I know that Bruce is so excited about. Hey, look, we got good main events on top. We got Undertaker. We got Bret Hart. That's a much better main event than you're getting from any WCW house show in this era, but house show business is still struggling. Do you think this is one of those, the business is cyclical type situations?
I do. And I think it was. And I also would put the live events up against anybody else's live events, especially at the time. I think they were damn good. And that's one thing that our audience did always have to say about us, was the fact that you go to a live event and we delivered. So they were good. And sometimes, you know, business takes a dip, and I think it is cyclical.
Let's talk about the end of Survivor Series. We just talked about this show not that long ago, but it makes the newsletter here that you guys were fielding complaints from people because Brett and Diesel had used chairs at Survivor Series, which is silly. I can't believe anybody would give a shit. But then that Diesel mouthed the word motherfucker at Survivor Series. And Meltzer would say they're trying to do a balancing act between making it a rougher product, but not alienating any of their audience or sponsors. And this isn't going to be easy. No doubt about that. It's going to be an issue for a long time, where you're trying to make sure that you have an entertaining show, but you don't want to alienate anybody. But it is a pay-per-view. Like, what the fuck?
It is. And it was a late night pay-per-view. And I think that regardless, there are going to be those that will always argue the family aspect of it. Look, you're trying some things, and I'm sure that the first time that Dennis Franz showed his ass on network television, that was a huge outcry of holy shit, you know, they're showing someone's ass on primetime network television. You take steps, motherfucker, probably too far. But again, you have to take steps and see where those boundaries are and where people's comfort zone is. Now you can see, you know, hell, you used to not be able to even say hell. There was a time in my lifetime where people couldn't be in the same bed. A male and a female couldn't be in the same bed, even if they were married on TV, without one foot touching the ground. When you go back and look at standards and practices and things. So, you know, you grow, you try to do things differently. Might have pushed the envelope a little bit too much, but we had pushed the envelope the other way so much too, trying to be a little bit more sanitary, that when you go back to it, people automatically jump on it and go, oh, look at what they're doing. So you walk that line and you try to balance as best you possibly can.
I want to mention replays. There's a Nitro replay that everybody's familiar with, and you guys at least tried a Thursday Raw replay. And Meltzer would say the Thursday Raw replay has been canceled. It was a catch-22 anyway. The WWF never plugged the show for fear it might hurt the Monday numbers, for a slight bit for people who would watch Nitro and then watch the replay 3 nights later. With no plugs, the ratings weren't competitive with what USA wants in prime time, so now it's gone. Did they come to you guys and say, hey, we really want to try this? And you sort of felt like you had to acquiesce, even though you really didn't want to?
Well, it was, again, when you have a partner and you're working with the network, you want them to be a part of it just as much as you possibly can. And if they're supporting something, so yeah, it's an experiment and it's an opportunity to possibly garner more audience and possibly a different audience. So why not try it? It's just, yeah, it's something that both sides talked about and looked into. And from network's point of view, hey, if we can get another run in a show, then great.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.